What's up YouTube? Seth Stevens here, and today I'm going to be filming a little Q&A answering the top 10 most asked questions about my 2023 Street Trials edit to hopefully give you a little better understanding of who I am as a rider and kind of what my thought process was for filming my first ever video project. For those of you who haven't already seen that video, I'll leave a link for that down in the description. And for those of you who have already seen the video, we're going to go ahead and jump straight into it. So question number one is, how long did it take you to film the video? Let's see, we started filming in February and ended in August. So we were filming on and off for about 6 to 7 months. A little fun fact for you guys, the very first clip that we filmed for this project was getting redemption on the brick wall. And normally I wouldn't even begin to think about starting off a project like this with such a risky line. But word on the street was that the town was going to be demolishing that area, so I knew I had to go back and get her done ASAP. Number two is, what was the video filmed with? We actually filmed the entire video with my iPhone, which is an iPhone 12, a GoPro Hero 8, and the very last shot was filmed with an older drone with a GoPro Hero 4 attached to it. And to answer your question, yes, we did crack the lens on the GoPro Hero 4. But we did get the shot, so I guess that's all that really matters. Number three, which trick took the most amount of tries? There were definitely quite a few spots that took a lot of tries, but if I had to say the one that took the most, it would probably be the swinging gate. That was mainly because I was being super picky about how long I stayed on the gate for. I still didn't really get it exactly how I wanted, but I guess that gives me a good reason to go back and get it better someday. Number four, has Danny MacAskill seen your bike/video? So believe it or not, yes. I mainly know this because of a comment that he left when I released the bike to the public on my Instagram page. And this was his response to the link that I sent him for my video project. Number five is, did you have any injuries while filming the video? Yes, I had a couple sprained wrists. And a sprained ankle. Now, for those of you who know me personally are probably sitting there thinking, well, that's nothing because you've had like over 13 or 14 different broken bones throughout your career. But believe it or not, some of the sprains that I've been having here recently have been lingering longer than what a normal bone fracture would, which is quite annoying just because with a sprain, I feel like I can still ride, but not really to my full potential. So I kind of had to wait it out for a few weeks to let that heal before I started doing any more stunts that were really pushing my limits. Number six is, which trick was the hardest? You know, I guess you'd think the hardest trick would be the one that took the most amount of tries, but honestly, the one that was the hardest mentally and physically for me was doing the G-turn fakie nose manual off the roof. Mainly because the risk factor on that one was pretty high. It was also above 100 degrees that day during the middle of the summer, not to mention the rain and trying to hide from the cop that kept lurking in the parking lot. I'm not going to say much more about that one because I do plan on doing a full behind the scenes video on that spot, so subscribe and stay tuned for that. Number seven, did you break any parts on your bike while filming for the video? So surprisingly, the only bike issues that I had throughout the entire 6 months of filming was a snapped chain, and also I broke a tooth off of my rear sprocket. which honestly is pretty good if you ask me because I'm pretty hard on my bikes. Number 8, which trick was the scariest? Definitely had quite a few tricks that were putting me out of my comfort zone, but if I had to choose one that had my adrenaline pumping the most, it would probably be the rail to bridge gap. Mainly because of the exposure between the rail and the bridge was like a 15-foot drop to really shallow water. And another scary factor that I had to take into consideration mentally was that I was landing in ongoing traffic coming from both ways. Number 9 is, how do you conquer fear / determine risk versus reward? So this is a pretty interesting question because if you would have asked me the same thing about 10 years ago, I would have looked at you and said, I have no fear because I'm named after Seth Enslow. But all jokes aside, and about 13 or 14 different broken bones later, I am human, I do have fear, and I definitely take in calculations when it comes to risk versus reward. I feel like there's two main things that I take into consideration, and one is, do I feel like I have any chance whatsoever of completing this trick? Because in my opinion, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're probably right. And number 2 is, am I going to have fun doing this? Because if not, simply why even bother? When it comes to fear, I feel like one thing that helps me conquer that on the trials bike is coming from a motocross racing background, because in my opinion, racing dirt bikes is a lot more intense and scary than anything I've done on a trials bike. But for those of you who don't know me personally, I am a Christian man who believes in Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. And if I'm being 100% honest with you guys, praying and surrendering to Him on the daily has helped me conquer fear more than anything in my entire life. And now we have, last but not least, number 10. When is your next video project going to be released? This is honestly a great question that I personally wish I had an exact answer to. But given that the bike industry is at one of its all-time lows right now, I am now unfortunately left to afford all of my bikes and projects out of my own pocket, which can be really hard to do as a young adult trying to make a career out of this. But if there is one thing that I've learned from the course of filming this video for 6 months, is that this is what I truly love and have a passion to do. And I honestly hope that I continue making videos until the day that I die. So if you want to be a part of this journey and help support the dream, make sure to check out this video right here. And with all that being said, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video.